is the northern wall of the old city. And it's a more Muslim population. Jerusalem is the center of the world, but it wasn't made by an Israeli. Okay, this was made in Europe in the 16th century, and it literally shows you that this is where Asia, Europe and Africa meet, and that's exactly right. This is where the three continents meet. And in the center of the three continents is the country of Israel. In the center of Israel is Jerusalem, and in the center of Jerusalem is Temple Mount. That's the way we see the world.
והלחיות עם האושתיים הלקנתי אז את ראשי ושמעתי תפילה הלא תדע אלי הטוב שבשמיים שכל הנערים
What you're supposed to have here is little stickers on the actual model, but I can see that most of the stickers are missing by now.
Imagine, this area with stairs everywhere. Could hold a lot of people, right? And you'd get people not only walking up, but you could reach around and sitting. And it was often a place where teaching would take place, where you would have people assembled and gathered, and there would be instruction, a lot of activity. Now, one thing that we sort of forget, and because it's not really emphasized, unfortunately, is after the church was started in Acts chapter 2, the temple continued to be a regular part of the believing Jews' life. We find Peter and John and the church gathering together in the temple. In fact, they met together at the temple and they met house to house. So the temple was still part of their life. They would come to the temple to pray. They would come to the temple. This is all before the destruction of the temple in AD 70. So before that, they would still come here, and the believers would gather, and you can imagine some of the discussions, because everybody in the city knew about what had previously taken place. They knew about the rabbi from Galilee. They knew about the one who had been crucified, and they knew about the resurrection. Everybody would have known that. And the amazing thing is, there were a number of priests who were being obedient to the faith. So there were a great number of Jews coming to faith in Mashiach, Jesus, Messiah. They were coming to believe in Him and trust in Him. That created quite a stir.
This is, of course, the temple esplanade. This is the wall that supported the balcony on which the temple stood, and this will once again slowly become clearer and clearer.
Because what is this that we're looking at? What is this called? Remember from the other day? My point is this right here the temple? Oh, what is it? Retaining wall. Where was the actual temple proper? Okay. And then we also saw in the diagrams that there were porticos there.
If you look here, you can see how the stones go back half a centimeter each as they go up on the Herodian level. Now we are at the very corner of the Western Wall, and in one moment we're going to the Western Wall. That's as close as you can get to where the temple stood. The temple stood on the mountain where you see the gold dome. And as you come closer to the gold dome, you get closer to where the temple stood. temple itself is a very small building. But this enormous area around is what glorifies it, so that people don't realize how small it is. In the year 70, the prophecy of the destruction of the temple of Yeshua comes true, and on the 9th of Av, the wicked Romans destroy the temple.
ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור, הלא לכל שירייך אני
הזמניה.
Pavement, but in Hebrew, Gabatha. Now it was the preparation day of the Passover, and about the 6th hour. And he said to the Jews, "Behold, your king!" But they cried out, "Away with him! Away with him! Crucify him!" Pilate said to them, "Shall I crucify your king?" Chief priests answered, "We have no king but Caesar." Then he delivered him to them to be crucified. Then they took Jesus and led him away. And he, bearing his cross, went out to a place called the Place of the Skull, which is called in Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him and 2 others with him, one on either side and Jesus in the center.
So what Pastor Roger read was the place that they brought Jesus was very, very likely right here, the place of the pavement. This is for many people a real sacred site. I'm glad they don't have something built over it that you can't actually be there. This is one of those things you can almost imagine. You move the structure above you, almost imagine with the pavement what that would have been like.
ירושלים של זהב ושל